What is up, Scrub fam? I am back with a deck profile update. Mostly because I've been getting a lot of questions about this deck since I first posted it, because the things have changed now. Of course, the metagame, we saw what happened in Florida, and now we have a better grasp of it. And I got a lot of questions about the viability of this deck in general. So I figured that I would just go ahead and give you guys an overview of what the deck looks like now, what I'm thinking about, and also basically essentially one version of the deck and then a more fair version of the deck. And either way, you can kind of mix and match and make one the sideboard, one the main deck. But otherwise, I'll just go into that deck. Before I get into that deck profile, shout out to Bearded Collectibles, best sponsor on the entire planet. Alec Pastrana is an amazing member of the community. Team Bearded had multiple members of the team in top 8 at ARG Orlando, and we are looking to continue success going into Las Vegas with one of the members being me going to be in attendance. So we'll see. It depends on what I'm going to play though. I might play something that's like super spiky, or I may do what I did last time, cop out and play something dumb. But I really don't think so. I really think I'm going to try and go for the W, because I do think that I can play up to a certain level, especially when it comes to my own skill. Of course, now I've also been pushing myself a lot further too, with of course my deck design, my gameplay, to kind of just get myself even further. And I've been doing that through a lot of practice, a lot of absorbing content from multiple games itself, including Super as well as Magic and things like that, just to kind of get myself back into that competitive mindset. So that's been really helping out. But again, shout out to Beard Collectibles. Alex, amazing. Shirts are going to be online soon. My goodie box was delayed another day because my leasing office closed before they were supposed to close today. That was super triggering. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the deck itself. So of course, let's start off with Bionic Frieza, the most impactful leader to come out of the draft box, because it does something that breaks the game fundamentally, and that's you get to play cards for free. You get to play spells for free, and this in general has the capability to do plenty of things. It has the capability to be a really control deck, really good tempo deck, and it also, of course, has the ability to be a really good combo deck. Because anytime you mention the word free, anytime you have free and drawing cards, which essentially drawing from your life allows you to do, you always have the capability for something crazy to happen. And Frieza essentially is going to be an enabler of that, which is why this leader is so good. Mostly you're going to be using the front side. You'll use the back side every now and then. In this deck, you actually use the back side rather a lot, because you're trying to close the game out once you start hitting your combo pieces, and you want to find the extra cards to find the extra pieces to your combo. But otherwise, this leader is extremely impactful in the metagame itself because of what it represents. I can get, as Frieza, you can get to your turn 4s much faster because of multiple objections within the first 1 to 2 turns of the game. You have the ability to see more cards with the cards like Encouraging Presence Manaka, which essentially is going to trade itself for 2 cards, which anytime you can get to the point where you're playing cards in your deck that just find you 2 more cards, and you're doing it for free, you're getting to a spot where you're starting to do some crazy and dangerous things, and at the same time you're giving yourself some wicked card advantage, because you're trading a card and then that has low projected value and trading it in for, yes, an unknown quantity, but those are 2 cards that is either going to be something that finds you another card, something that is a spell that you want to hold on to, or is a creature that you're searching for. So Frieza, combined with a lot of the different spells that this game has, the different extra cards that this game has, is incredibly powerful. And like I've stated before, and you've seen me on multiple comment threads, a lot of people are talking about different decks that they think are viable, or are thinking about, and they want to come up with these aggro off the wall strategies. I mean, shoot, even I do it myself. But I always have to give myself the stark reminder that there's a leader that exists within this game that can get to its turn 4 and get to its removal cards faster than you can present threats. And when we start thinking about that, that really starts to warp the format. And that's where I start to get concerned, because now as a player, for instance, I'm going into Las Vegas, there's a lot of decks I have to test against. Like, there's still Vegeta that's on the map. There's still the God-based decks that are on the map, and Gods are making a comeback. Bionic Frieza, I will tell you, Gods will make a comeback because of Bionic Frieza. But with Frieza on the map, with Cell on the map, we're placing this really awkward space, because I can build all the decks in the world that have a better matchup against Frieza than, against a lot of other different things, and focus on that. But at the same time, those decks end up being weak to Perfect Force Cell. And so we get back into this weird paradigm of a metagame where everything else loses to Perfect Force Cell the majority of the time, but Perfect Force Cell is going to lose to Bionic Frieza, and Bionic Frieza has above 50% matchup against a large majority of the field itself. So we're getting to this weird place right now. So the general trend, I've been testing everything, I've been throwing everything against the wall. getting ready for Vegas, and as of right now, it's either I'm playing something off the wall that I find within the next couple of weeks, and I've been testing diligently. That's why I've been so busy and haven't made as much videos as I normally do, or I'm going to end up settling on playing the best deck in the game because I can't do what I did to myself in Hartford and not play the best deck. I just have to. So without any further ado, I'm going to say that again. I'll go into the rest of the deck itself and what makes the deck work. So, of course, this is my version of the deck that is the combo version of the deck. You can probably hear my dog, Jackson, scratching the couch right now. He's a beagle. He's really sweet. But anyway, so we're going to go into what makes this deck work and why this deck is actually really effective and has been really good in testing. So we'll go over the extra card package. We'll go over Encouraging Presence Manaka first. You guys know what this card does in this deck. The biggest thing that this card does for me is not only the drawing the 2 cards to help find my combo pieces, but at the same time, the double strike to me really matters because I need to put some pressure on the opponent in the early game to be able to get to the point where I can close them out with my turn 4, turn 5 plays in order to be able to make sure that they can't ever come back. So Encouraging Presence Manaka serves a couple of purposes, like I said before. He's going to be a 0 mana draw 2, or he's going to be something that helps buff my attack to be able to get some damage in the early game. This is also helpful in the mirror once you're able to start turning sideways and start attacking. Whether you're giving your opponent card advantage or not, you really need to get that damage in because that's one more damage they take is one less damage they can use towards playing playing an extra card for free. So encouraging Jackson. He's too much. But anyway, so Encouraging Presence Manaka is incredible. Next, we have 4 Cinch Beans. Cinch Bean with this leader is outstanding. You can play it for 0 energy after you've tapped out. You can then play this, untap 2, whether if it's a yellow and a blue so you have defense for the next turn, or you can use it again just to help you get closer to awakening. There's times where I need to awaken before my opponent, so I'll play my cards out, I'll swing, I'll Cinch Bean, pop 2, I'll awaken that, and then now I've gained even more card advantage over the opponent. I've cycled through some more cards, and then now I'm set for the next turn going into their turn, and now I'm ahead versus them. So Cinch Bean is a really important and impactful card for Bionic Frieza. 4 Whis Coercion, it's just the ideal negate because you can play it for free and then ready any energy that you want. I definitely think going forward as we start to get into more varied builds that you can start to see some flexibility with your negates, if you want to change colors. But as of right now, Whis Coercion just fits, and especially because I'm playing blue, it just makes sense. So a lot of times this ends up being a blue energy early in the game because my sources are limited to just extra cards plus the cards that are in the main deck. But otherwise, Whis Coercion is the negate you need to play. 4 objections. Mana and energy acceleration is good. Doing it for free is even better. So, or doing it for 1 energy, so reducing the cost of it, doing on turn 1, doing it 2 times on turn 1 is absolutely insane. Playing the mirror match, I played a ton of mirror match games last night as this deck against a blue, green, yellow version that I've been working on and tuning that list and brewing that list, and that's one of the things on the table for the tournament in Las Vegas. The mirror match is hysterical because we're both essentially like, did you get it? Like, did you find it? Do you have the objection? And then you end up mulliganing in the mirror for weird things. Like you're like, I need a blue source and objection. So it's like, I'll open my 6, say I don't find anything. Okay, I'll just keep the blue source and then hope I draw an objection after I mull 5. So objection is a really important card in the deck because it helps you get to your big plays faster. And that's one thing that this deck does is when it gets to your big plays, like you're going big. Like you're actually doing something to sink all your energy into and really trying to build up to a game state that's really hard for the opponent to overcome and give you a board wipe at the same time. 4 Cold Bloodlust, best counter in the game. If something comes into play, you're stopping all the effects of it. I don't need to really explain that too much. Best thing about this deck and best thing about going so heavy in yellow like I do in this deck is the fact that this allows me to have a yellow open so I don't have to spend life on it. So this will make the difference in the mirror for sure, because if your opponent doesn't have a yellow down, which a lot of the tricolor decks don't, a lot of the game, you're able to get that extra advantage because if you play something, you're going to be able to get the benefit of like, yeah, they'll Cold Bloodlust it, but they're taking a life, so they might put themselves in lethal range. Next we have 3 Frieza's Call. Frieza's Call, this is kind of where we get to the point where it's almost like a mirror breaker. So you have the ability to, at this point, play your Frieza's Call for free on turn 1, go fetch an Avenging Frieza the majority of the time, and begin filtering through your deck. And this is one of the big plays that makes this deck great in the mirror and great in general. Because even though when you get to the battle card suite, it's not impressive, but the fact that I'm going to be able to filter through my deck so much is going to get to the point where all my draws are going to be better than the opponent's draws because I'm drawing into either a negate I need or a counter I need or exactly what I need to be able to put the puzzle pieces together and get my combo and then win the game that way. So Frieza's Call helps facilitate that. This card is absolutely incredible with Frieza Leader because you're going to be able to get the free card off of drawing from your life. You're going to be able to get the card out of your deck. So again, you're exchanging a card for a card that's in your deck. You're taking that card out of your deck, so you're no longer having to draw it. You're putting it on the table, and then now you're able to do more with it. Sometimes you don't always have to fetch an Avenging Frieza. Sometimes turn 1 in early, I can fetch something like Cuis, so the opponent can't kill me or attack me. They can attack into Cuis. And Cuis makes it really awkward in the early game because they have to combo over to be able to kill Cuis as a blocker. So that's another play that you can make with this too. Next, let's go into the battle cards. So 4 Avenging Friezas. Like I said, this is one of the important parts of the deck and actually is what's going to be a big separator between, again, you and the mirror, is you have a way to filter through your cards, which has proven to be the most invaluable thing about playing a heavy yellow build is the ability to cycle through your cards through Avenging Frieza. And so this is one of the most important cards in the deck. This is what you're going to be going to early, helps you maintain card parity, gain card advantage over the opponent. So essentially, it can almost end up netting you like another Monaka because you Frieza's Call, draw a card from your life, Avenging Frieza, look at 3, draw one of the Frieza's armor cards. So you've just drawn 2 cards, similar to what you do with Monaka, but now you're getting body on the table that helps advance your win condition. At the same time, Frieza's Call also helps with the thing that we need, which is getting battle cards in play early and as quickly as possible, whether if it's getting the Avenger Friezas out or it's getting those extra ones in your hand so you can play them. 4 gold, though, it's just a one-drop blocker that has the upside of the fact that it's yellow energy, and when you play it and you have a yellow leader card, or Frieza Army Leader, you basically get to choose one of your opponent's 2 drops and tap it. So it helps you gain that card advantage on the opponent, especially later in the game, because everyone plays like a 1-drop or a 2-drop in order to be able to filter a card. So Energy Boosted Boo or Bundle Curiosity, you can tap one of them, swing with your leader, draw a card for free, and then don't have to worry about giving your opponent any sort of card advantage. 2-drop Cuis, I love Cuis as a blocker. He's live in this deck almost the entire time because your deck is mostly yellow, and at the same time, it's a great Frieza's Call target. Great blocker, does a lot of work for me in a lot of my games. 4 Dodorias, this ends up being a big target for your Avenging Friezas as well, and that's another thing I love about Avenging Frieza, is that this is one of the only ways in the game that you can tutor up your 10k boost. So a lot of times when you get these Avenging Friezas out, sometimes you'll you'll end up hitting the nuts, so to speak, where you just keep finding the Dorias off your Avenging Friezas, and then your hand is loaded with your combo pieces, your defense, and then of course your 10k boost. So now when you go to swing for game, you have everything you need to do it. 2 Ultimate Judgment Jaco. This is just another blue source. So essentially total we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18 cards that we can play as blue energy, and Jaco just feels like the ideal fit for me because playing 2 Boo isn't enough, and then playing 2 yellow cards over this wouldn't have felt good. I really just wanted to be able to have a very flexible blue card to either play as energy, to have on my hand to combo with, or to play defense with. So it's almost like another negate in the deck. So I really like playing 2 Jacos in the slot for the additional blue cards that I need. Next, I have 3 Mecha Frieza the Returning Terror. A lot of people ask me why I play this in the main deck over playing Beerus's. A lot of the reason why is because I really need something that can almost be a game ender and also provide the removal aspect. And since the way this deck plays, you'll come to find, the opponent's going to start attacking you, and they start attacking you, you need something that's able to wipe out multiple threats, and Mecha Frieza the Returning Terror does that. So I really like this card in this deck. I only play it at 3 because, like I said, I have to make room for everything else. 3 Occupation of Evil Frieza. This is the promo. The promo is still undercosted. The promo that is still cheap on TCG Player. Please go out and get yourself some of these promos. Get yourself some non-foils. Don't go crazy on the foils. I mean, unless you really want to. But me, I'm a minimalist. I'm going to buy a promo. It's going to be non-foil the majority of the time unless I'm getting a steal. But otherwise, this card's great, has Double Strike, and then activate main, place 2 of your yellow battle cards other than this card in the drop area, and then choose up to 1 Golden Frieza the Resurrected Terror from your hand, and evolve this card into it. And then if you do, draw 2 cards. So supreme value, you're going to build a board with all your little minions, you're going to play the 4-drop, and then you're going to sack 2 of them, draw 2 cards, play the Golden Frieza, and then now you have a triple striker who has amazing text. When a card evolves into this card, place all rest mode battle cards except for this card in the drop area, then choose all active mode battle cards except for this card and place them in rest mode. So this again plays into that fact that our opponent's going to be attacking us. They're going to be trying to turn the corner. They're going to try and close this out because they're trying to be aggressive. because we're gaining such an incremental advantage and huge advantage across the course of the early game and mid game. And so Golden Frieza punishes them for that because it's like, oh, they swing in with multiple people, I stay alive, I hit the combo, Golden Frieza, I wipe their board completely, and now I'm swinging at their leader with a triple striker, and then I can close out the game because I'm able to protect it with Cold Bloodlust and things like that. And another reason why I like playing a heavy dose of yellow is that I can evolve multiple times because I have the Returning Terror Mecha Friezas, as well as I have the Avenging Frieza. So I have multiple targets to evolve off of if I can't get the combo. But anyway, that is this version of the deck. So let me go ahead and pop into the other version of the deck so you guys can see. So let's just get, I have everything in the sideboard right now. But this is pretty much what we have to us right now. So a lot of times what we do, we end up pulling out the 3 Frieza's calls. At this point, we'd end up pulling out our combo pieces. And then we can put in 3 Beerses. 3 Clan of Terrors. 3 full powers. And then we'll take out our 2 Jacos. Put in 2 Returning Evil Golden Friezas. And we still have more options in the sideboard as well. But this configuration you can make as your actual main deck if you wanted to, and then side into the combo if you feel more comfortable with that, because this is going to give you a more stable version of the deck itself. It's something that's not going to be as volatile, gives you a lot more game, gives you a lot more ground against the opponent, and then you can play, like I said, it's more of a fair game. You're still ramping, you're still playing the 20 card set that you normally do when you're playing one of these Bionic Frieza decks, but you still have great removal because you have the Beerus's, you have the Mecha Frieza still, you have 2 Returning Evil Golden Friezas, which with this, great combo, because you can play this down, nip a card from your opponent's hand, then on your next turn, Returning Evil Golden Frieza, return this back, and then play this again the next turn if you wanted to, and then we still maintain our yellow engine, which I really like. I really like keeping this engine in the deck because it just keeps the cards flowing, and then we just basically make ourselves like a normal, fair, mid-range / control deck. And so this is a version of the deck that you could play if you wanted to. We have 3 full power Friezas. If you wanted to, you could nix this down to 2, and if you wanted to make space for the cooler, the Blood Tyrants, you could. You also have the ability to play the Cuis blocker in the deck in some effect, as opposed to playing the Returning Evil Golden Friezas, but you really just need to be able to keep some blue in the deck, especially if you're going to be going into Beerus's in Game 2, Game 3, or if you're making this your main deck configuration. Some other choices in the sideboard that I have for you guys to look at, or if you want to make them your main board, you can. I have 2 battering lasers. A lot of time when I play the mirror, it's going to sound like blasphemy, but when I played the mirror, I actually went down to 2 Cold Bloodlust, 2 battering laser. It sounds dumb, it sounds crazy, but in the mirror it actually helps out because the battering lasers end up being more important, and you really only need 1 to 2 Cold Bloodlust just to protect your threat, but you need to land the threat first. So the battering laser to land your combo is way more important than the Cold Bloodlust in that matchup, and you really only need the 2 Cold Bloodlust. And since your deck has a lot of filtering, you're going to get to the point where you have access to your cards faster than your opponent does, because there's some games where even when they play 4 Cold Bloodlust, they'll never see it because they still have a big chunk of 30 or 40 cards in their deck, whereas you filtered it. You had your Avenging Friezas go through it, you had your Monakas, you had all those different cards that were able to get through your deck, and so you're finding that stuff way faster than your opponent is. And then of course I have 2 Raccoon Eraser Gun. You could put this in the deck as well if you're looking for more defense. A lot of times this is going to take the place of 1 negate and something else. So if you wanted to play against, if you're going to play against like a heavy battle card deck, you can take out and make space for 1 to 2 of these, and then helps improve your matchup against them drastically. But again, like I said, this deck is really flexible, and even if you wanted to play this version like I presented here, or if you want to play the combo version, you're going to have a lot of success. Probably more so in a best of 1 format. This version of the deck would be the one that you'd want to play in a tournament because it's going to give you the most chances to win the game. It's going to be a lot more forgiving. But if you're playing in a best of 3, you could have this as your main deck configuration, like I said before, and you could side into the combo, or you can start with the combo and then side into this. And so either way, you're presenting to the table a really lethal deck that your opponent's going to have to worry about. But anyway, guys, this has been my update for the blue-yellow FreezerBot. This is version 2.0. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, personal crises, want to give me some feedback, please let me know. Again, I truly appreciate everything you guys have done. We're on the track to 800 subscribers. We slowed down the train a little bit because I took some time off to myself to do some playtesting. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck tech. And again, thank you guys for so much for being Scrub Fam. Scrub Fam is best fam. Be on the lookout. I'm doing in my bearded bundle box opening tomorrow. That video will be up as soon as it's done. I'm super excited. Happy belated birthday to Alec Pastrana. I love you, baby girl. You guys have a great night. Okay, bye!